if you cannot do it right, don't do it yet. 99% of the SMEs in Africa don't live up to their age. They die off.
I think some at home mauza cabbage.
Yeah, that's true.
Me, I sold chicken.
For instance, if you had a conversation with me when you were doing your chicken business, I would have told you, why don't you get a purchase order? So, with that purchase order, you can sue.
Yeah, chickens died for the sake of nothing.
But if you see your lawyer, you know that person is either going to jail or is going to be freed based on how that person has dressed. So
I know where you're going with it.
We do have godfathers in the system. It's no longer the same.
what is the most overlooked thing?
Yeah.
It's just the planning. Without planning, there's nothing you can do. Yes.
Your future doctor anatumia chat GPT, so please eat the right things. So usizeeke na mashida.
It is true.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you very much for joining Successful Fuckups podcast. And today we want to talk about something that is always at the back burner of everyone who's trying to do business or even in employment. And this is legal. Now, a lot of times when we talk about law, we always tend to approach it with a lot of fear. And it brings some anxiety sometimes.
It's
when
fear
people,
and sarcasm.
And sometimes it's something that we always want to feel like we can ignore. And especially in an age where we have AI, people are always making for themselves contracts and coming up with things. And we wanted to demystify and get deeper into that conversation. And of course,
Jimmy, it's also important to note that, sorry to cut you,
yeah,
why we have this conversation today has been informed by the people that we've brought in.
Yes.
So most people's fuck-ups when we're having this conversation has always been the paperwork. It has been that. So even this episode is very deliberate in a way that because we have seen this and we saw a need to actually have this our guest for today.
Yeah. We have a lot of people who are getting into deals. And in between there, watu wanachomeka.
Yes.
And that is why we want to get into it today. So our guest today is Claire Dawai. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Legal practitioner, commercial law and trade expert.
Yes.
And
expert in the line.
Expert in line. And I know a lot of times we always say, I call Kanja my learned friend. Leo sasa. Leo tukona the actual learned friend. And of course, we want to just have a nice conversation around matters legal, law, and especially in the context of business, of people in biashara and so on and so forth. And this is happening at our new digs for the season, which is Workstyle Africa. As you can see, we're in a very nice looking co-working space. And if you're a team or even if you're a person working, looking for collaboration, a space to collaborate with people, this is the space to be. There are a few locations. One is at Mudangari Drive, which is where we are today at the address. We have one at Parklands and a new one coming at Mandrake. And we will, the date for that will be released a little bit later. So karibu sana, Claire.
Thank you.
We want to just dive straight into this conversation. I think you have, this is something that you do. You have all the information at your fingertips. I know before we started this conversation, you're like, what are we going to discuss? But today we have decided you're going to give us free legal tips without a fee note. And so we are going to put you on the spot kidogo. But I think, as Kanja said, we have been having a lot of people who every single time when they're getting into their first, gigs in business and so on and so forth, people tend to sort of like push away this legal conversation a little bit too far. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there is some anxiety that comes with it. We tend to think that law is something, or legal is something that you introduce when you're in trouble. It's not looked at as an ally. It looks like, there's a certain mindset that we need to break. And that's part of what we want to capture in this conversation. Okay. So very straightforward. I know that a lot of people get into like handshake agreements and a lot of times verbal contracts like bar conversations. Niko na hii idea, acha tufanye hivi. Are those legally binding?
Gentleman's agreement.
Gentleman's agreements. Just get us into an understanding of why this is important for us to be having legal structures at a very early stage, even in business.
One thing I should mention is that, the law is dynamic. It grows every day. It's just not, it grows every day. So even as a lawyer, I cannot even say I know everything. Because you see, yesterday, the Supreme Court may have passed a decision which I am not aware of. So the law is very dynamic and it grows. And I love the way, you know, a contract is not just what you write. A contract can be oral by the conduct of the people. You look at, that's a contract, or it can be in writing. So when we talk about a contract, those three aspects, yes, you can be probably in a pub, you're talking, you're like, oh, let's do this, and you agree. Yes, that is binding. It's still a contract. Okay. But the question is, what kind of evidence will you be able to adduce in court for them to be able to believe that you actually sat in a pub and you had this gentleman agreement? So it's basically even by the court. For instance, if I sit with you in a pub and we say, oh, could you please deliver 20 kilos of avocados. Then I say yes. Now, how else can you evidence that I actually deliver the avocados? Yes, to you. Of course, I'm with several workers of mine, and they unload. Then now it's up to you now to pay me what we call consideration, which has to pass. So, of course, if I'm going to court, as much as we didn't have anything in writing, I would say, no, I was with 3 of my workers. We've even passed the gate, we signed the book. And So, yes, an oral a contract can be oral, can be by conduct, and it can be in writing. Yes.
Is it that why do we feel like there are some, I don't know whether to call them unstructured environments, especially those ones that you've just explained, or bring 20 kgs of this. Are all of this supposed to be driven or managed by some legal agreement somewhere? Is it, or should it continue as it is? Why is it that we skip that part?
Allow me to mention something. This is a bit, it's not off, but as you said, again, I do a lot of trade facilitation and I understand SMEs. 99% of the SMEs in Africa don't live up to their age. They die off. Why does that happen? There's a mantra that I have. I've also failed in business. Other than that, other than being whatever I am, a lawyer, I'm also an entrepreneur. So I do have side businesses that, of course, the Bible commands us to have 7 streams of revenue, and I have them.
Very nice.
So
7 streams of revenue.
7 streams of revenue.
Why is 7 so important in the Bible?
The number.
The number 7 is a special number.
Special number.
Yes. Okay. So 7 streams. So I have also fucked up. So I know, and for me, of course, everything is written because I know we have to write, but I still fucked up. So a contract is not the most important thing that you need when you're doing business. Because I messed up so many times, I have grown to believe that if you cannot do it right, don't do it yet.
Wow, that's powerful.
If you have a business idea, if you cannot come out right, just don't do it. I'll give you an example. There's a friend of mine who started a hotel just behind here in Lavington. And I told her, you know, she was putting things together. Then I said, you know what? If you don't have enough capital to even help you stay for the next 1 year, please don't start it. Because nobody wants to come to your establishment and say, look, I want a bottle of Hennessy VSOP, and you don't have it. Then you start sending for it. If you can't do it right, don't do it yet.
Interesting.
So what does that mean? Internalize with yourself. You sit back and say, what do I want to do? This is a beautiful idea I have. Do I want to go into partnership? Like I think I sank in about 3 million in a spa. And I went into partnership with somebody I didn't know.
You opened a spa?
Yes.
I hope Cecil has actually managed a massage.
No. A spa. No, Cecil is where? Please, it's a spa. So I got into this business and I didn't know the other person's character.
That's the other thing, yes.
It was so bad, I had to walk away from it. Then I had this other biashara. Everyone kept on telling me, oh, Claire, you know, you have nice skin. You can do it. So I started a beauty shop.
Wow.
People's ideas, not mine, not conceived from my heart. And then, you know, you have this, you've already set up the shop, then you have a few, then you're like, itajipatia. No, you need working capital. You need to have saved up for working capital for you to do that. Then, by the way, contract is a very small thing because in law, the law is so dynamic. You can actually prove that you went into contract with somebody.
Without having the paperwork?
Yes. Wow. The question is proper planning. Did you plan? Yes. So if you can't do it right, don't do it.
Yet.
Don't do it. Yes.
Interesting.
Like now, there's something big that I'm trying to do. I've been planning for the last 2 years. I've gotten to the stage where now I have architectural drawings. Now I'm going into approvals. But I'm telling you, I'm taking my time.
Do you think it's partly because, being the lawyer that you are, a lot of everything that you do is very structured. Some backgrounds, people want to apply kiundudo, kidogo.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes it depends on our background. Because I think some at home umeuza cabbage.
Imeuza cabbage. Yeah, that's true.
Me, I sold chickens. And one of the toughest things was
Getting the slaughter man.
going to the guy and telling him niko na kuku hazijachinjwa bado. Then he tells you aya nilete 50 ama nilete 20. On the day na umeita ule anaita kwa nini mchinji. You've called the guy and you've slaughtered the thing, you have them. Unafika hapo anakwambia tulichukua zingine
Jana.
And there you are. And then those were the very early days. Right now maybe I would do it a little bit different.
But is that even could you sue that guy?
These are these are the things, but even the energy to do so. Most people consider legal processes and as expensive.
Yes.
And we don't consider it as a way of
necessity.
Yeah, and we look at it as a cost, or we don't look at it as an ally.
Yeah.
It's sort of like something that we will get when we are bigger.
I'll tell you something. There's something that lawyers have, like when we're hiring associates in our law firm, there's that aspect of being able to de-risk somebody or an enterprise.
Yes.
And it's called critical thinking, which many people don't have. Like, I'll get really annoyed with my friends. I'm like, can't you see that's a problem? But you see, it just comes with a law. So I think it's very important that you even have a conversation with a lawyer to find out what do you need, what are the risks involved. For instance, if you had a conversation with me when you were doing your chicken business, I would have told you, why don't you get a purchase order? So, with that purchase order, you can sue.
Yeah.
You have actually asked for this, and now you claim you don't want it. You understand? So it's very, very important to have a conversation with a lawyer.
Yeah, chickens died for the sake of nothing. But that is
and there is this thing about the lawyers, the learned friend, and all that conversation. It's a very glamorous career.
Yeah.
So everybody will want to be a lawyer. Like, it's very glamorous. And there are this conversation that if you see your lawyer, you know that person is either going to jail or is going to be freed based on how that person has dressed. So
I know where you're going with it. There was like a meme circulating. Lawyer wake akakaa hivi. Unajua unalala mahali ndani.
Yeah. So how would you say perception, for example, and is the legal system in Kenya biased? Because we've seen a lot of huge cases whereby the big shot lawyers ndio wanaenda, this is, they speak big words, they speak a lot of citing the constitution, and I'm sure many people in this room have not even read the constitution and article this, section this, and all this. And we also seen people representing themselves in court.
Yeah.
So how does the legal framework in Kenya work? Especially now in the sense of commercial and contract law.
Wow. I would say things don't work as well as we would want to. Me, I'm one of those people. From the time I was in then it was standard 6. I knew exactly what I wanted to become.
Really?
Yes, I did. I knew mine was low. So mine is the love. I was very passionate about it. So I in my head and in my heart, I thought I would just come, read, go to court, win my case. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So we do have godfathers in the system. It's no longer the same.
So is the system rigged or is the system biased?
It's not as straightforward as we would want it to be. But I would not generalize it.
Okay.
So it depends. It depends. There are some very good, for instance, the late Majanja, who is my mentor. He was an amazing guy. And you'd go to his court and you'll get justice. So there are a few like those that make you happy. And of course, they give, you're very excited about being a lawyer. But then, of course, there are a few bad apples that discourage you. So...
Interesting.
It's a balance.
It's a balance, yes.
Now, in the same sort of like flow of that conversation, in a business environment, what are like 3 loopholes you see that people ignore? There could be 3, it could be 4. I just take a.
What is the most overlooked thing?
Yeah.
It's just the planning. It's just, I'm telling you, business is just, you just need to plan.
Okay.
Because if you don't plan, you need to come up even with a business plan. That's very important. People think it's, because you see, how will you know that your business is
Viable.
No, it's stagnant. It's not moving. It's not becoming better. You can only know that with a business plan, where you have set for yourself performance, the milestones that you need, key performance indicators. You really need to plan. Without planning, there's nothing you can do. Yes, and of course, understand your stakeholders. Look at the environment. Be careful about the location. I'm very passionate about this because Kenyans have amazing ideas. But they will only run for 2-3 years, and that amazing idea is shut down. Yeah, when you could be providing jobs, you know, there's so many things. The impact is huge. But planning, I would just say planning.
Okay.
But planning, the planning or the lack thereof of it.
The lack thereof
is it that we are eager to please ourselves? Is it that we are? Is it coming from a scarcity
Instant
mindset?
gratification.
It comes from an ignorant place. Like for me, I was very ignorant. I even had to go back. I had to take I did an entrepreneurship course with Goldman Sachs. Kahoot 12. That's a good one. Now they're offering it for free.
Okay.
Anybody who wants to start, please just go to Goldman Sachs, their website, and do the entrepreneurial course. Then you will see there's a lot that goes into, a business. There's the planning. Then, of course, the idea has to be... Kenyans have a habit of copying each other. Sam has started a pub and she's selling this kind of cuckoo with this. Even me, I'll do it.
Yeah.
No. The idea has to come from you. You see, that's why it's easy for me. And that's why we are jealous of each other. For me, it's easy if I see my friend doing well, I'll pat you on the back. But that's not my idea. In fact, even the idea that I have, the one that I'm telling you, I'm still planning and I've been doing it for 2 years, it's very unique and it's unique to me. And I'm satisfied. If we do that, then it will be easy even to now, hold your friend and help them as they, So a unique idea and an idea that solves a problem. Because problems are always opportunities to make money.
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting.
So in the context of like day one or of starting businesses,
Yes.
there, people have the registration process, there's trademarks, there's all of those things. Maybe there are processes that people have that are proprietary. Are these things, are these things that we should be sort of like taking through a legal process? Like, should I secure my brand name? Should I secure my designs? Should I, going back to the point of people copying each other?
Yes, intellectual property. Unfortunately, intellectual property law is not dynamic in Kenya the way it should. That's why we find many people, you can get anything you want in the market. So we have not really grown the way Europe has or the UK. The UK is doing amazing with its intellectual property law. Unfortunately, our musicians are not being paid the copyrights that they need to be paid for. So it's not as... But of course, there are those basic things that you can do that the law will still protect you. So it's still very important, of course, to go to an advocate. I like the fact that the government has allowed anybody to be able to incorporate a company or a business name. But you see, the only problem they have, what they didn't look at is this. Why are you choosing to have a business name as opposed to a company?
Those, yes.
There are many other things. Should it be a company limited by guarantee? Or otherwise. So there's so many things. So you still need a legal expert to be able to, okay, fine, as much as you want to do it for yourself for free, but then again, you are adopting to articles and memorandum of associations that you don't know, you haven't read. What does it mean? The impact is huge. For instance, you come and say, oh, now we want to remove that director. Then I tell you, where are the articles? We adopted, we just, but did you read? And the devil is always in the details. So
This is very interesting because sometimes we don't read the fine print.
Yes.
We hate reading, we hate paperwork, and all that happens. I have a friend who had to, so he got into an agreement, started a business, and the wife was a director. So there's director and the director shareholder. So the wife was a director shareholder. Now he wanted to grow the business, but nyumbani wako na dome. So the wife refuses to sign papers. Do you know this guy alienda akachukua the book ya mtoi, the homework.
Ile ya kusign homework.
Yeah, he spent 2 days memorizing the wife's signature so that he can go and secure and grow the business. Yeah, I know maybe it's illegal, but he did that. And then he used to take the papers to the wife. The wife anazirarua. He tears them up, and then one day the wife comes and like, nimesign shukua. He has already moved on. So I'm getting that it's very important to like shareholder agreements and all this. These are things that people overlook. And personally, I've been a victim of that. We were very good friends and we were working. But now, when it comes to, for example, designing a director in a company, it's very complicated because they have to agree to it. And sometimes they might not agree to it out of malice. So what advice would you say, for example, what is like a starter pack, when you're starting this business, what are the legal top 10 checklists that we need to tell people today? They need to make sure that this is in order.
Number one, have a meeting with yourself. And
meeting with yourself.
Ask yourself, yes, this is the idea I have.
Yeah.
But where do I see it in 5 years? What is my exit? Because, you can't stay in the business for long. It will ultimately just, So you need new ideas. So when am I willing to exit so that someone else can come and take it to another level? Is it going to be a partnership? Am I willing? Who is my partner? So once you've done all that, because you can't just go to a lawyer because the lawyer needs to know what
you have to feed them with the
want.
information. Yeah.
Yes. So once you've done that, then now come to a place, okay, fine, I've decided it's going to be a company limited by liability. I am going to be the owner of the company. I will exit after 5 years. Am I going to fundraise or do I have capital? Where am I going to get my seed capital? Have all that with you. Because then now, once you have that information, it's easy for you to know to what extent will I need a lawyer now that I have all this. So now you go to a lawyer and say, okay, this is what I want to do. What do you advise? From there, of course, then you get your company registered. Make sure, of course, as you're doing that, the lawyer will be able to tell you need this kind of license, you need this and that, so that you get covered. Then, most importantly, have a business plan. Yes.
Okay.
Then from there, I think you can now see how to. If you're fundraising, of course, you also need a lawyer.
So we actually need a lawyer in every aspect.
You do. Because it depends. Are you going to take debt, equity, or mezzanine, which is a mix of the two?
Wow. In some of these words, I think we might have to demystify for the
because
audience.
And even when you're talking about registration bit, when do you know you need a sole proprietor? Are you a partnership, incorporation? I know there is a limited liability company. There is even, I think, another one above that. So when do you know which one to go for?
Business name normally comes with professions. I'll give you an example. If you're starting a school, you can't go for a company limited by liability. Though the business name can be owned by a company limited by liability. But of course it goes, I am a teacher by profession. Then of course the government normally asks for your license. Can you give us, like for me, lawyer, But now lawyers were allowed to do company limited by liability. Before they didn't allow us. But of course there's that license. Are you trained to do it? That's what the government is asking. So most of the time, business name is that, like a doctor starting a pharmaceutical, whatever. So, you have to give in your license for now the portal to accept your registration. Company limited by liability, yes, probably your mind is on this company I know is the next big thing. I have 40% shares. But then I want the other shares to go out, to be offered to the public later on. Okay? That's also another way of the company raising money. And of course, raising money and you still have, and growing. It's a good way to grow a company.
Yeah.
So, yes. And then, of course, there are those non-profits that want to operate. They are not really moved by money. but they are moved by impact. Then of course you want members in your nonprofit. That's a company limited by guarantee.
Okay.
So it depends on what you're starting. So a lawyer may be able to give you insight on what is the best package for you. Yes.
The challenge now again usually comes with finding the one that works for you. How do you get a lawyer? Like how do you know a good lawyer and a bad lawyer? Like you ask someone and then they give you a recommendation or something. But from your perspective, how would we tell what is... Because the problem with legal stuff is that it speaks its own language and it is almost like it's speaking within itself.
Yeah.
And it's speaking to people who don't understand that language. Mutatis sitandis, sijui nini, malatino mingi. But how do I know who is going to work for me the best? How do I select? How do I know who is going to be the best person?
I'm coming back to something that I said. If you can't do it right, don't do it yet. Plan. Do your research.
Okay.
I know, someone has recommended Wahome. Can I do my research? There are lots of ways. In fact, LSK, I think, has enabled the public to be able to, to do a background on lawyers. It's easy.
Really?
Yes,
Did you know that?
Yes.
You guys know that?
That's why I'm saying, as you're speaking about that, tell us.
Yeah, because we did.
You can go to the portal. You can just see the basic information. You can also go to LSK and ask.
What information is on the portal?
How many years of practice, what the lawyer has been trained to do, where their offices are, so that this is a legit lawyer.
So
kama Kongara,
you'll get all that information on the portal. So it's easy.
Wow.
And then of course you can also go. There are many ways of
finding out.
Yeah, there are many ways of finding out. I think lawyers also sell themselves well. But kupata lawyer ambaye atakulet down, I think most lawyers are very passionate about what they do. Maybe a few bad apples, but yeah.
But has the space... I know you say that the space has changed from a structures point of view, but from a practice point of view, I know you say that there are good people coming from school. If you get a lawyer in Nairobi who has schooled in Nairobi, is that
let's not just be biased and talk about lawyers. Let me just talk about generally professionals.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a niece of mine, and we were talking about a friend of hers. And she said, she's a lawyer, and she said, auntie, nowadays in Kole, I said, this person cleared with an A. That's nice. Alisort watu. Alisort nani. Ati siku hizi tuna sort. I was shocked. I was shocked that this is information that I'm getting from someone.
Yes.
It's not proven.
Yes.
So
yes.
So
being
she
the
said,
lawyer you have to disclaim.
Yes. So ati siku hizi tuna sort. So even for me, by the time we were trying to make a decision where my daughter should go to, which institution, those words came back, tuna sort. I had to sit with myself. She stayed away for 2 years. The planning part, because you're like, you don't want your child to go and start sorting. You want your child to get the knowledge. And
is it the child or the parents?
No. The university.
Oh, the university. Okay.
Kama wanasort ma lecturers, nini wanapata?
Yeah.
And then, of course, I had another friend of mine who's a lecturer, so sad, at School of Medicine. Hi. She used to tell me basic biology, basic physics. This is somebody who's going to become a doctor.
Literally, they should be saving lives.
There's like a meme that was going around that was saying, your future doctor anatumia ChatGPT, so please eat the right things. So
it is true. And I agree with that. And that's what I'm doing now. Like if I go into a clinic and I find a young guy, I don't know. I'll walk out and say, no, I'll come back.
Really?
Yes.
And does it
I'll
apply
go to
like
those
fresh,
old ones.
knowledgeable people?
Does it apply with, like, if I find a young lawyer, should I be freaking out?
No, there's some that are brilliant. There's some that, you can't stereotype. Yeah, some are brilliant, but it's hard. They don't want. Okay, let me say this. There's a generation that has come up that they don't want to work to get there. It's taken me very many years. I don't want you to guess my age. Very many years to get to where I'm at now. And experience is normally the best teacher.
Yeah, you can't skip that.
So I over the years you learn how to handle clients. You learn, and for us, I'm very passionate. I'm sure you can tell. I'm very passionate about what I do. So for me, I'm not really moved by the money. But if I can look at company A and say, oh my God, we moved from this to this. Look at them. They're thriving. So I think maybe the young generation need to look at life that way. Sometimes it's not all about the money.
It's not just the outcome. There's the process as well.
There's the impact, and then there's why God created you. For me, I'm moved more by purpose. I don't want to be referred to as someone's mother. Neither do I want to be referred to as someone's wife. My name is Claire.
Identity.
Yes, I'm a lawyer by profession. And I aim to change this world. Yes.
Interesting.
So if we can all be passionate like that, then it will be a better world to live in. Yes.
In this subject of especially IP, I know you said that the structures are not very strong.
It hasn't grown as it should. Because
should.
it's really growing, you know? Yeah.
Because a lot of people, especially in the service line, because trade is one thing where you, as you said, you're delivering X kgs of this.
Yes.
There's a physical thing.
Yes.
Commodity.
When it comes to other elements like that may be service-led, the things are not tangible. A lot of times we tend not to value it. Like, for example, you're getting into a partnership. This partnership is going to be a service, right?
Okay.
The business itself is going to be a service.
Like law is a service.
Yes.
Yes.
There's one person who maybe was the idea generator. There's another person who maybe this idea cannot go without the skills of another person, let's say. Because I found myself in those situations sometimes. So your skill is required. Now, your skill, there are many ways of having this partnership. It could be a revenue-based partnership, but sometimes revenue is also tricky because how do you gauge it and so on and so forth. So it ends up being, say, an equity conversation where you want shares. How are those conversations supposed to go? Because I feel like people use, I'm going to use a Latin word, Gedukio style, to measure what percentage there's going to be. So I come to you and tell you, okay, if I'm going to join, then I want 30%. I mean, is there a metric? Is there a way of that you arrive at these things that should be used?
I like that question because now we come back to something else that I think we had discussed, where we're saying, we were talking about knowing the character of your so-called partner. If two people cannot even agree on what percentage each of them should, please don't do that.
That's the first red flag.
Because you see, it's like saying willing buyer, willing seller. If I want to sell, for instance, this cup for $1 million, sini yangu. Okay, mmenipea lakini si saini yangu. So even if I sell it for $1 million, it's me, it's mine. I want so. It's two people agreeing. And if you can't agree on something as basic, and I like money. When I'm having a conversation with my friends about money, that's how I know the true character. But if I'm able to back down and go like, the main reason why I want to do this thing is because I want to see 500 people employed. Ni sawa, we chukua 70%, we chukua 230. You see, you can cope. So, but there's no cast stone.
So there's no cast stone structure. It's at the end of the day based on. I think we've been in this conversation a lot, and sometimes it becomes a pending or hanging conversation because there's no. I mean, at that point, do you start involving a lawyer? Then questions about valuation. Then you start asking, okay, so how are you valuing your service? If this is going to be the value of the service, then how are you valuing the company? So it becomes a whole situation. Na hii ni biashara hata hatujaanza. And
so
a lot of times.
Fail.
Yeah, so a lot of times what people do is either it ends up being a handshake discussion, again going back to character, and it's like that factorization mathematics.
And imagine,
if character fails, then now it goes this way, and then you spend 2-3 years doing something, and you can't, and then there's so much maybe bile or trauma in between. You don't want to start involving legal after the fact.
Yeah.
Because now what are you going to do? Again, we were not selling this laptop. We were selling a service. What am I coming to ask for my stake in? You know, it becomes very complex. People are running events. This one is bringing this idea. This one is bringing... An event is not tangible. And then people end up saying, oh, this one went with the idea. And I was there making it happen. And it didn't give me anything. And then before we know it, watu wamewekwa kwa mpasho.
Actually, you know, what I'll tell you is this. It's not always about the other person. There's something that I started doing about a year ago with myself. I decided I am not going to look at people's bad manners. You know, you can't stand in judgment. So and so hasn't done this, or so and so is not rising to the occasion. I always say, what about you, Claire? You see, if we all did that, then I think we'd have a very nice world. Number one, if you're not the kind of person who can back down and, have a meeting with yourself and say, me, the only reason I'm not doing this because of money, I'm doing this because I like doing it. If you have not gotten to that place, please don't start a business or don't even go into a partnership.
Because the money even disappears.
Your character is just bad.
Umesikia?
Unajua, I'll tell you, people will always remember how you made them feel. In this world, it's not about chasing after paper. Yeah? There's more to it. I ask myself, even if I died today, what is, for instance, Sam going to come and say, if he's talking about Claire, how did Claire... the only thing he's going to talk about is how I made him feel. Oh, she would give her this, she would give it 100%. It's not ati Claire alikuwa anaenda kunibaia bote hakuna. So if once we learn to grow yourself first, there's nothing there's nothing, everything that you touch will turn into gold.
Interesting.
And by the way, from passion comes profit.
Passion to
It's
profit.
inevitable.
What I'm learning from what you're saying also is this. At the end of the day, law is not coming to sort of like do patchwork for anything. If the whole thing was flawed, it is going to be flawed.
Yes.
And in any case, once you are very clear and you know that this is not flawed, then legal structures should help you make it even better.
Because even papers, if you enter into a contract, how many people abuse? We always abusing contracts. People don't honor that.
So even if you are getting into an agreement with someone whose character was already off, papers or not, it is already a gone concern. It's already disappeared. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. It's not supposed to be viewed as something to come and protect in the case of, because if it was going to be messed, it was going to be messed anyway.
So as a lawyer, do you get into legal dispute with, for you kama lawyer umenyoroshwa uko tu like, na hapa I overlooked this. Do lawyers also, get in trouble?
Mara nyingi sana. Sana tena sana. And I think mostly it's with our clients. For instance, a client has given you a certain matter, paid well, second time, paid well, third time. The fourth time, you don't even need to go into huyu atalipa tu. We have files like those. We call them receivables. Unasiangalia hivyo unasema, wow. Yes.
Date ya kwanza ilienda vizuri.
Hata hiyo, still even me, we still do that. And sometimes unajua because you know the client so well and you know their financial situation, it's easy to say, oh yeah. I know when he gets money, he'll just pay. So yes, we do.
Wow.
Despite you knowing the law, we do.
Okay.
Of course, even us guys get divorced. But I'll ask you a question. Have you ever seen two lawyers in court in a divorce matter?
No, no.
Rarely.
No.
Rarely.
Wait.
Yet no, we hardly do that. In fact, I know so many friends of mine who have gotten divorced, husbands were lawyers. They're like, I'll take care of my kids. But your briefs we take quickly. But for us, we don't want to do, Mugambi versus Mugambi. No. For us, we just...
the Mugambis.
Yeah. We don't do that. We don't do that.
In terms of like now in the case of like an existing business, of course there are many different levels of legal agreements. There's contracts with clients. There's contracts with employees.
There's contract with partners.
Yes, there's contract with partners. A lot of these things. Now, specific to that part, and I don't know whether you'll be comfortable talking about like employment law, because it's something that disturbs a lot of people.
Okay.
You've hired people, they are not delivering. There's always the fear, and HR laws are very pro employee. If I'm not wrong, half of the time. Are there things that probably we are as a business owner you're not doing right in terms of, for example, hiring? Are there contractual elements that we need to look out for, such that it becomes easy for non-performance, for example,
dismissal,
because it's always a painful, it's always a very painful situation.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to employment law, one document that is very important is that employment contract. Yeah, and the contract should be able to foresee different things. And of course, it depends on the kind of company that you are. You could be a service delivery company, or you could be selling tangible goods. So depending on that, of course, it has to be structured, of course, in line with the Employment Act, the statute. Of course, that should be able to hold. But then, of course, there are also those, what we call, normally in an employee handbook, the procedures, the rules and regulations that all employees need to adhere to. Other than that, it is very important that anytime you are talking to an employee, you should document it. This thing of, for instance, John coming in late, you're like, why did you come late? It's oral.
Yeah.
For employment law, let me tell you, even the matters in court, in industrial court, they are very fast. Before you know it, the judgment has been entered. And of course, these ones attract, you can actually be committed to civil jail.
Yes.
You know that, eh? So,
civil jail ni gani?
Civil jail, kuna criminal na kuna civil. Kuna wale sasa wanaenda kuiba, wananini. There's a criminal aspect.
Okay.
But there's some form of criminality aspect when it comes to employment law. You can actually be committed to jail as an employer. Yes? So there are ways you need to protect your employee. But every time you are dealing with an employee, always document it. For instance, when John comes late, write a letter or a memo. Please tell me, why you came late. So that you see when you go to court, you have got 21. You see, he came 20. In fact, we were nice. We kept this guy and we were nice. So there are systems that need to be set up. And many companies don't take their time. It's good if you can work with a lawyer even for a year. Just to understand. And even if it's to your benefit, because after you're done with 1 year, you'll be like a lawyer. The only thing you don't have is a license. Because we'll have understood.
You'd have understood through experience.
And then it's important also for the employees to be trained. Many times, I think in Kenya, employees really harass each other. There's some sort of form of bullying that goes on. You may find an employee who was giving 100% now giving 60%. So it's also important for the employees to be educated in as far as the law is concerned. And a company that is seriously if one of your, is it mission, vision? No. If one of your
values
is ethics, you're committed to ethics, then this is something also that employees need to embrace. How can you do that? Training them, how to treat each other, how to work in a department, then you can get, the most important resource that
a business has is
of
people.
course, it's the personnel. So if you can do that, then everything will go right. Yeah.
On that point, we live in an era and an age of information overload.
Yes.
So we've seen a lot of TikTok lawyers, TikTok doctors, TikTok everything, and people, we go to ChatGPT and all that. What advice will you give people? Because we've seen a lot of everybody now, kuna mtu anavaa lab coat TikTok and they become a doctor, and we've seen cases where they have misled people, the advices and all that. So how when we are living in this era of information overload, what advice will you tell people? For example, people want to go to ChatGPT. We have culprit here. They have sent contract. They put it on ChatGPT and then they
change details,
change details
box.
and all that. And you talked a very good point about ownership of things. What advice will you give now that we're living in an era where there is a lot of information overload? There is a lot of bad advices. What is your take on that? And will also technology take the job of lawyers?
Yeah. I believe in structures. You know, if I see a doctor who's gone out of his way to do things correctly, then of course he has put in a lot, even his heart. But if I see a doctor wearing a lab coat and sitting on TikTok, seriously, that's how you see, we've just been discussing and said, you need to set up structures, you need to plan. Anybody who plans means they're serious about it. So why would you go to somebody who just looking for an easy way out, wearing a lab coat and... Yeah. So I believe, as much as we are informed, I believe in getting a service from someone who has taken their time to build whatever it is. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think people usually I think it's an attempt to save costs.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you spoke, we said, okay, so like in a business, you have contracts with employees, you have contracts with
Service
suppliers
providers,
and so on and so forth. Is this one law that I'm going to work with across the board? Are they treated as individual case by cases and with different costs? Is there a way in which it can be done? Maybe, you know, as a, you know, you're coming to my business and you're helping me across the board. Considering that people are always fearing these conversations, what's the best way we can? Do you find one lawyer to do everything? We are always keeping that apart. As you said, you chat GPT'd your first employee contract until they got to 5. Then now you start looking for a HR person. You're copy pasting. What are they called? Contracts. You change the detail here. How do we?
But that's so sad. You know, the copy pasting thing, I'm even wondering, people do that?
Oh, yeah.
Because you see, different businesses have different risks. You can't just copy paste. There's a lot.
So each business is unique.
Yes, it's very unique. So it's for a critical mind to be able to look at a certain biashara and see, this one will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one, and sometimes you don't need, oh my God, that's sad.
Yeah, people. Is it
that's
is it
wrong.
just? I know I speak for many when I say that people copy paste, especially people just Google something. Even a photographer will say, there's this gig that I'm supposed to get. They'll go online, look for photography, sort of like template. Come, change the details, change the deliverables over there.
I have seen that even with people we want to get into business with. They'll send me something that has errors, like it has the placeholders. You know, name goes here.
Insert
so it's not insert here, exactly. And it shows it's an issue on that we are facing. For example, we don't read. We don't like to read. For example, I was in a contract with a certain company, and we said that, you know, we'll offer these services for you, and we have a contract. But then they didn't pay. So I sent a demand letter. They didn't respond. And then we went to court, the small claims. And then I served them, they served me. Because in the contract, they said, we will have, before we go to court, we need to go to arbitration.
Yes.
And I didn't read that. So we wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
Now they're like, this
They're
matter will be listened by, on this, so they started buying time. Dear counsel. So I'm just seeing emails, dear counsel. I'm like, okay. And I didn't read that. And, you know, it was my bad. You get? So it is very important. So if I had someone to guide me, even before I sign this, I send this contract to my lawyer and I ask them, what do you think about this? Are the terms favorable? Can I get into this contract? What are the risks involved? Like you said, every business has its own risk. What are the risks? What are the repercussions? So I think when we have that conversation, then we'll start respecting the profession.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm.
And in many ways, you know, we were joking about this a while back, and we were saying most gentlemen will have a number of a barber.
Yes.
Most ladies will have a number of I don't know, maybe the equivalent of your hairdresser or something. But that is a person you're loyal to. Me siendagi kinyozi mahali ingine. But when it comes to legal things, we are winging it. And I think maybe there are some.
Is it the excitement?
I think there's a habit we haven't formed around this whole subject. And when it affects us on personal levels, it affects us on business.
Lakini msijiblame sana, hata pia kuna maloya wengi wakora who have also dissuaded you from taking up the service. I know, and it goes both ways. So there's got to be a balance. I know you have an attitude that you don't need, but you actually need. You need somebody who's going to look at it differently. And even I was taking the profession for granted. Until now you start interacting, now your friends start starting businesses, and then you're seeing some things, and then you're like, kwani aoni? Until my mom told me, but you are the lawyer. Why are you saying kwanini aoni? You see what I'm saying? So even I was taking it for granted. So I think that's why we're having this conversation, and thank you for calling me here today.
Because I think even going back to the TikTok conversation, I think that's how it has gotten there.
Yeah.
People just needing to say something about something. And yes, there are those ones who are also misguiding people.
Yes.
But there's also, I feel like there's a lack of, I know we talk about financial literacy and the lack of it even in schools and so on and so forth, which would have helped us in many ways without making mistakes. I think there's also, to some very deep extent, literacy around matters legal. Because we get into situations we shouldn't have. And as you said, and I think you guys in legal call it, ignorance is not a...
It's not permissible.
It's not an excuse or permissible.
It's not an excuse.
So I think, I don't know, maybe there needs to be, I don't know whose mandate that is to educate people.
We do have that, I think, once a year, and if you go to the High Court, it's a service that we offer. We get points for it, so there's that once in a year thing that you find advocates. Yes, pro bono. We do have that, so you find very many advocates and at High Court. I think the parking where you can go if you don't have any. But I'm moved now to say this. For small SMEs who are starting, kuja tukupatie ka package kapoa to make it economic. Yeah, I mean, for you, you know. So for as little as, let me just say 20K, we'll give you what you need to start.
Yes. That's fantastic. Because I think at some point I was going to put you on the spot and say, tukikusanya watu, 50 people, business people, kuja tu waambie about
in fact,
some of these things.
And even from 10 to 20, you come, we give you a very nice package where we are de-risking you. You come with your idea, and it's good because now being the trade expert, you see, that's why the two, are you seeing the way they marry? Because then you can speak life into a business, you know. We'll ask you hard questions. Where do you see your business going? What do you want? Why? Yeah.
So future-proofing, actually.
Yes. I was so sad. I think I began by saying 99% of the businesses that we start in Africa don't last. So for me, I am very passionate about seeing something grow. Can you believe I get so happy when you start with a microfinance with 20,000, now having a loan book of 1.6 billion, and you worked with them, it's a very good
fulfilling
feeling.
thing, yeah.
Yes. So yes, it's a conversation that we can have.
Yeah. I would love even the comments around this episode to, people can throw questions because they can guide us in helping figure out how we can structure that. I don't know whether to call it it's nothing fancy. I feel like saying ukuja na kiti yako so that we know you are serious. Like ukuje ukalia hapo. There's no ati decor. Nini. You just come and have real conversations about because I think I made a lot of mistakes.
Me too, yeah.
Starting up.
So did I. We all do that.
And they were expensive in the context of time. Because you've spent 6 years doing X, and maybe there's a fear mentality of, but in between there, if there was a certain structure in between, you'd have been well protected, you'd have been well, basically you wouldn't have led to the outcomes that I feel it has led most people.
But imagine, don't regret.
No, I have no regret.
You have no regret.
I have no regret.
Okay.
If I would, I think nowadays, as you said, once you've done something so long, unakuwa lawyer bila certificate. I think based on the mistake, and that's why we've called this podcast what we've called it, because we don't believe that there are pitfalls in that nature.
Lessons,
and some of the greatest ideas in the world, some of the greatest things, KFC, what, they came up when someone was 45, 55. So it's never too late.
Yeah, it's never too late.
It's a learning
In
curve.
fact, you've mentioned KFC, and there's a conversation we had a while back, and we were saying, some of the businesses we find in this country, like for example, as you said, you had started a massage parlor. There was
Not massage. I said a spa. Oh my God.
massage ni ile ya hivi.
Wewe akili yako iko wapi? Hapana.
Massage
I
ni ile ya
said a
Kilimani ya hivi.
Maybe it's
Call
time.
I said
0721.
I said a
Kwanza
spa.
24 hours.
Where you go, your nails, you enter into a steam bath, sauna. Yeah, that
I
kind of thing.
apologize. Let me go back.
In
to
fact,
my
even
statement.
then, your head was still in the gutters.
We need to differentiate between massage and spa. But
Yes.
anyway, we have been talking about like salons and barber shops,
Yeah.
and we were saying a lot of these businesses, like KFC, is a franchise that's global.
Yeah.
They prescribe to a certain code, even like
Yes.
local. Yeah.
So you have a certain structure around your processes and so on and so forth. People starting salons, maybe if there was an opportunity, there would be no need to go and recreate your own Wamboko salon.
You can actually franchise,
You
yes.
can actually franchise. Is that where does that conversation come from? Is it an existing barber to come to you and if you wanted to actually
But this all goes to the issue of IP, I think.
Yes.
So, because franchises are protected by IP, my
Yes.
understanding.
Yes, they are. Yes,
so
they
if in Kenya now, you just change a name.
Is there a threshold I need to have reached for that to be the case? I have started my 2 barber shops. And now I want to get into that structure.
You know, when you look at your barbershop, what do you feel in your heart? Have you grown to the maximum? So what is the other way of growing? Another way of growing is now branching off. But then do you want to use your own capital? No, you don't want. But you want someone else to start it, but have the same concept, everything.
working,
But then they pay you a certain fee for the franchise.
Yes, that's how it
an
works.
easier way also of doing it. Or do you have enough capital to have now the branches that you want to have? So you may decide, no, I want to do it. Or your friend may come and say, look, you may not be able to manage this in Kitui, but I know it will do very well. It will thrive. Can you sell me that? Yeah, then you can do that. So it's you are the owner. You are the vision holder. You know where
it's back to
your
the
business.
person.
Yes,
It's back to the
yes.
person,
Now having a mkutano with yourself. Have you seen how important it is?
You go to Museum of Illusions. Kuna vioo mingi huko. It gives you a reflection of yourself.
Really?
You have a meeting with yourself.
Yes,
And-
yes, that's
and-
important.
and,
All the time.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think
Interesting. When you ask kids, I think it goes back to the person conversation. When you ask everybody, there's something I call teenage dreams.
Yes.
So if you want to become something, it's either you say, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer. Those are the most lucrative,
Yeah.
qualities.
Yes.
People will say. So for you, what advice will tell? Can everyone become a lawyer? There are people like this
They're
is
specific.
they're specific. And then what for a young person that will watch this episode, what advice would you tell them? If when do you know you can be a good lawyer or are not, like it's not for you? Do you do it for the glam or for the passion? Because you talked about a lot about passion and loving what you do and all that. So what advice would you give to young people to know, yes, I can actually be a lawyer?
Thank you, sir.
And not about, because now we're in school and our education system is fucked up. Is if you're good in history, if you ask any young person, be good in history, be good in English, and maths is not always a requirement. So for lawyers, English, the history and all that. So what advice would you give to these young people?
I love that question. Thank you for asking it, because it has bothered me for so long, and I wish I had an avenue where we could sit just as we are discussing it. For me, who you are to become, I think it's spiritual.
Okay.
For me, it's very spiritual, because I believe there's a reason why each one of us was created. There's a very good reason why.
Yeah.
And there are very few people who find that reason. And the reason why many people walk around depressed is because they don't know why they're here. Someone will tell you, this life is just meaningless. Have you heard people talking about that?
Yes.
But for somebody who understands their purpose,
Yeah. I feel like
I wake up every morning. Let me tell you, despite what is going on in my life, my life is not, that's why, again, we come back to, I am not someone's wife. I am not a mother. My name is Claire.
Okay.
So despite what my child would do,
That is not your identity.
if I have a husband, what he's doing, for me, that doesn't really pull me down. I didn't come here to be someone's mother. Neither did I wasn't created to be someone's wife. But I know what I want to do. And I know the impact that it would have. It's something that God has placed in your heart.
Okay.
So what you do as a young person, this is what I began telling the same daughter, the one I was talking about, Skutaka Sotiwe. She's in a nice institution, don't worry. It's just that the institution has not paid you for us to advertise. Ako sawa too. So if I keep telling her, it's a conversation that I have with them from the time they're very young. I kept on telling her, what do you want to do? Have you asked the Lord, what is in your heart? Have you found it? And I like the institution that she's in. Hey, they need to pay you guys so that you can. I like the institution that she's in because at least they have also directed her. She confidently came and said, you know what, mom? I am going to be an aeronautical engineer. Why?
Wow.
Why should I fly that thing and I don't know how the engine works? I don't want to be I want to fly it. Then ultimately I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see the impact is huge.
Yeah.
So let them be aware that they were not created. Please, even girls, please don't make your children think of marriage first. Why are you here? Because I think marriages are the worst things on earth. No, I'm not the one who's saying that. Sorry. Even the Bible says, Paul was saying this. No, let me just, Paul said this. I pity the people who get married.
Wow.
He said that.
What verse? Because it is very important.
I'll give it to you. I don't have it now, but it is there.
But now, you see, I have a friend now.
Yes.
Alon will never get married. If you say that, because he's finding justification and we're trying to matchmake for him.
It's what God puts in his heart.
But I get what you're saying.
And Paul was even encouraging people to stay single. But you see, now we are Africans. That one is not even married.
Yeah. Ukienda nyumbani ushago, the first thing is like, utaleta mtu lini?
Alafu wanakupatia, kama uko na mtu unapewa Coca-Cola. Kama una mtu unapewa Crest.
Really, that happens?
Crest moto.
I even stopped telling my brothers, when will you get... Once I read that verse, then you read that verse, then you see experiences. I'm not talking about myself. I'm just saying you see experiences.
No, it's true. There's a... it's like purpose comes from it. Please
tell your children to find their purpose.
Yeah.
I've had a meeting with myself. Even if any of my children don't come and tell me, oh, this is my husband, these are my children, I don't care. Why were you created?
Yeah.
You'll find that child being so happy. And in fact, there'll be that individual who are not influenced by their peers. Why are you here?
Yeah.
Once you have that, once you walk in your purpose, nothing can bring you down.
Yeah.
Even if you have a very bad husband, I'm waking up in the morning to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
Interesting.
No, I think
that's
I want to
powerful.
co-sign something there because I think I do agree that purpose is spiritual.
Yes.
And a huge part of... And I like that you use the word spiritual, not religious.
No,
like spiritual, because spiritual.
I don't believe in religion. By the way.
Yeah, spirituality is important for people to understand the difference. I think you go through a path, and coming back to who you actually are is a spiritual process that then determines everything else. Because you know what you want, what you don't want. And so I love what you've said. It's not so much about, what we can change in what we are good at. But the core needs to be super clear. And I wish there was a process that is universal, but you just have to figure out a way of listening.
There's something else I didn't say. Sorry, I'm sorry for cutting you short. And then the easiest way for them to even know what path you should take is what makes you happy.
Yes.
That's important. So you don't want a job that, because I know I
Monday,
resigned a job where before I went to work I was tired.
Yes,
you wake up in the morning, you are tired even before you leave your bed.
Yeah.
So, but if you're passionate about things, and there are things that I say sometimes, what I do right now, I am always delightfully tired.
Look at that.
Because of the impact.
In fact, sometimes the problem is when to stop working. Because you're like, Sasa hii
The Bible
imetosha.
commands you to work all the days of your life. That is why Jesus said, my father is always working. And if you look at parents, for instance, if you look at parents who have retired, the one who hasn't retired and the one who has retired, the one who has retired is aging very fast. But the one who's still working is young. Please work all the days of
You
your
need
life.
a problem to solve every single time.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were not created to sit.
Yeah.
No. You are created to do something. You need to
Wewe
have...
unakaa kuamsha watu waoshe dirisha asubuhi.
Where are you resting? Where are you resting?
You know, I usually tell people my mom used to do that thing where, because we were boys.
Yeah.
And first of all, I think past 12, she sat us down and she told us, the house help in this house is ours. You people, you do your own stuff.
Yeah,
So I washed
that's important.
uniform.
That could be my best friend.
Yeah, I washed uniform from from 11, 12. Na house yako hapo. You wash your own uniform. Saturday, you know, I've told you guys the story ya kutumwa. Because you'll tell her on Friday night, you tell me what you need to be tomorrow now. Ndio asubuhi tulalalale kidogo. Saa moja kimulango. Tua! Huku mtalala mpaka saa ngapi?
Na ni saa moja asubuhi on a Saturday.
On a Saturday. And then you're like, but nani ndio anaenda kwa duka? She says, no. Hata wewe amka ufanye kitu. Tafuta kitu ya kufanya hapa. So yeah.
I see even today in the morning and Alan was telling me, hey, no, you are evil. So nimeona tu brother yangu amelala nikasikia vibaya kwa sababu mimi sikuwa na hiyo chance.
Oh, he's close school.
Nikampatia gazeti nikamwambia jioni nikikuja uniambie nini zinasemaje.
Yeah, you slowly become your parent. But I
you
hear
realize it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Look at how you've turned out.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Unajituma.
Tulikuwa tunaamshwa huko. But then again I was told saa ingine labda sisi ndio tulikuwa shida. Labda alikuwa amekasirishwa na mzee.
That also happens.
I will take it out on this video. Amukani mnafanya nini kama mmelala? So anyway, Claire, this is sorry, Kanji, you have another thing.
Again, people will ask, and I'm going to go direct to the point. How do you guys make money?
Lawyers.
I know you're asking because ile story ya stamp.
Affidavit,
Yes.
ukipunja kia ya gari unaenda mahali pigiwe stamp na signature. Yeah.
Of course, our signatures are money. If you want me to sign any document, that's money.
Okay.
Sometimes you need a document notarized. That's good money. Or you need a document witnessed. That's good money. Of course, the drafting and the litigation. So you pay us for the service. And of course, we are controlled by what we call the REM order, the remuneration order. So we don't just come up with our fees. And we can't undercut. It's an offense. Yes, because that means all the clients will come to you. No. There's a certain standard. So there's a minimum that we have been given to charge, and then there's a maximum. So sometimes you'll find us telling a client, no, I can only charge this, and But of course, many people choose to go to the one that will charge them less. And cheap sometimes can be very expensive.
Yeah. Even if it's your relative. Unajua unasema family and friends and family discount.
I don't like those briefs.
Relatives,
no.
Claire tumejuana miaka mingi.
No. Those briefs are normally not nice. Because if it's family again, you can decide, wacha nilale. Nitafanya tu hii. But you see, it should come from a place. Let everything be
interesting.
Yeah. So
yeah. So I before we finish, I had a few questions that I wanted to ask that are more direct towards the larger conversation we are having.
Okay.
And they will obviously help the audience in deciphering a lot of what we've said, because this conversation is quite wide, considering the subject matter of law. Yes. Your expertise around trade, there is commercial, there is another.
Actually need an audience. We need to do a session
this one
where
needs,
we call
the marriage one you
and
spoke about is another animal altogether. But yes, so I had they're sort of like quick fire, but they're for you specifically, they are more attached to the subject matter. So I think the question one contract clause every Kenyan entrepreneur should never skip.
If something happens, is there a way of you exiting?
Exit clause.
So
yes, an exit clause. At any one time, how can I get out of this arrangement? That's very important. Number 2, should we have a disagreement? What are we submitting ourselves to? Jurisdiction, what we call the jurisdiction. So as you said, it could either be we submit to the courts in Kenya, or we are submitting ourselves to arbitration or mediation. So whichever, those two I think are very important.
Does that mean that law is like it's in a jinx? Like something will always go wrong? Like why can't we say we will happily ever after?
This is how people don't take life insurance. Jawataki kufikiri ni munataka kuongea mimi nikikufa. But
it's because we live in a world
some inevitabilities are there.
Uncertainty. Yeah.
We can't say all of us are ethical. And because of that, of course, we need to now take care of those uncertainties. Yeah. So
even if it's your brother,
you have to be the devil's advocate. Kwanza, those ones are worse.
Yeah.
They are worse. So yeah. For instance, there's something I wanted to do. There's a biashara I wanted to do. I think this is important for me to mention. And I was leaning towards using a family thing. I was leaning towards using. My mom has this built-up school, and she's moved from Mombasa, and it's there. She decided, let me just sell it, but she's not been able to sell it. It's a big acreage. Then I was like, it's easy for me to actually put up that idea of mine there. Then you have a meeting with yourself. Then you say, the amount of money that I'm going to pump into this thing is a lot. But this is something that my brothers and sister, they've grown up seeing. It's their mother, so it's my mother's estate. So, and then, of course, we are human beings. We'll get to a place where your brother comes and says, this thing belongs to our mother. It's ours.
It's not yours, yeah.
But remember, I also have my estate and I also have dependents. So how does that work? You understand what I'm saying? So then you realize, hey, this one, I had to take a step back. So that's why I even told you now I've done architectural drawings. So I said, if mom could do it, I can do it also.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Biggest legal myth that you wish people would unlearn?
Is there a legal myth that I wish people would unlearn?
Amani stamp me 5,000. Sometimes you're told that thing, contract, and then we end up running away from it.
Yep.
I think is that they can also be their own lawyers and draft the. That contract is very important. I think that's the biggest. Where you think unaweza why do I need that wakili? You do, but you need a good one. You need a good one, so you do your research well. Yes.
Okay. This is going to be a weird question, but in some situations you get into, and you're always asked, can we sign an NDA?
Yeah. And those things don't work.
I was going to ask that. But I was looking for a demure way of asking, do NDAs matter?
When you're getting into something with someone, just look at their character first. They do matter. Like for me, if I sign an NDA with you, I take it seriously. Because if you allow me now to look into your, for instance, as a lawyer, you say, okay, fine, Claire, but normally lawyers, we have a trust relationship. We are not even supposed to talk about our clients, whatever, the way they do their things. But of course, we are bound ethically to keep that. But look at someone's character. If I want to get into business with Njoroge, how is he? If he has good character, then the NDA will work.
If not, attend drinks Njoroge asema
anza kuambia watu, you're my bro. There's this thing we are working on. But anyway, I hear you. Yeah. I think it's always one of those things. Sometimes, especially if you're a consultant or you're a service person, people request for a meeting and then they request for a meeting and they ask you, before we have this meeting, here's an NDA. And then you're like, what am I NDAing to? Like, is it something I should send to a lawyer first?
I think we like making ourselves feel nice. Whatever helps you sleep at night. You know that thing? Itanisaidia nilale usiku acha ni sign. Bottom line, again, you really need to understand who you're dealing with. Yeah, because then you'll both be ethical. You will honor any arrangement. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. There's a client who came to me and I was trying to help him fundraise. Then he disclosed something that is very crucial. Should I mention it anywhere? He could have people take it away from him. So this guy leaves my office. Then after an hour, he calls. He's insistently calling. I was in another meeting. So I call him back. I'm like, hey, what's up? He says, oh my God, don't tell anybody. I told him, oh God, I've even forgotten. And I know how much it means for your business. So you see, it depends on who you are dealing with. You see now, if you had a funny lawyer, because if I disclose whatever, and then I'm not interested in that business at all. Me, I told you I believe in the ideas that God puts in my heart.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think that why I'm asking that also, Kanja, is we've engaged someone in to do some financial projections for a company. And then so they do for purposes of like a merger. And then in between there, you find, because they have to understand the business, or they think they understand the business, kidogo unamkuta ameweka company profile
na kaofisi
na ameweka kaofisi doing the same thing you're doing. And it goes back to that thing you're saying. Legal is, while it's there still is the integrity component.
Yes.
I remember when I started working, I never used to understand why some of these values, especially in corporate structures, they have been repeated everywhere. You go to a banking hall, you'll see the word integrity. Then you go to another bank and then you see the same word integrity. And I used to wonder, okay, so who the hell is working without this integrity? Until you start getting into it and you realize people are built differently, they were raised differently. Hawakupigiwa mlango hivi 7:30 asubuhi on Saturday morning kuambiwa waoshe dirisha na roof. So I thank you for saying that. Okay. Most common reason SMEs get sued.
Lack of ethics.
Lack of delivery.
You promise something that you can't deliver. So
interesting.
Okay.
That's why I kept on saying, you as a person, even before you do something, if you have not grown to that place that you need to, please don't do it. Allow yourself to grow, do away with the bad habits, cultivate good habits every day. And till you get to that place where you think the world is ready for you. Yes.
And to stop treating business as a shortcut.
There's no shortcut.
There's no shortcut.
There's no shortcut in life. And I think God did it deliberately, because I'll tell you, 10 years ago, this is a good Claire. 10 years ago, the Claire was just awful. Before that, it's just the worst. So over years, and then the best thing I like about myself nowadays is I'm able to internalize something. If a problem happens, I start blaming myself first. What would I have done differently for this not to have occurred? I don't look at the other person.
You're in control of you.
Yes. So that growth is also important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there one legal thing that every freelancer should have? Because we have a lot of gig economy people.
A good lawyer.
So they should get a good lawyer.
Yes.
So umesikia siende kushoot harusi ya mtu bila nini?
Bila contract.
Bila contract.
A good lawyer. A good lawyer.
All right. I think that is it. For me, I think this conversation is so wide and it covers so much. Some of them personal experiences, some very embarrassing. But as we said, we don't live with regrets.
Yes.
We're always learning.
Yeah.
I think what I have learned now is that there should always be, at this day and age, you should have a relationship with lawyers.
A good lawyer.
And a good lawyer.
Yes.
An ethical lawyer.
And not just as a need. It could be a need basis, but it's someone that you have built a relationship with.
Yes.
So that, as you said, they are able to look at a wide array of things as opposed to nitpicking one thing in the that doesn't end up helping you.
Yep.
As you said, I love what you said about the Bible instructing us to have 7
revenue streams.
Revenue streams.
So that when one drives up, the other one is still flowing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, Naizo, you can imagine 7 revenue streams without any legal structures. And
chaos.
none of them are surviving past year 5 because you are monkeying around with this thing and developing contracts for yourself. And I think there's just so much. And I think there should be an opportunity for people to be put in a room and, as I said, nothing fancy, just ask your questions and we move. And I think the legal side, the legal professionals like you, we look forward to more education around these things, especially when it comes to specific subject matters, whether it is, I think for me, it's mostly business.
Another important one is IP. I think we're making a lot of mistakes where you have your ideas out there and they're not protected. At least we have the basics in Kenya. We shouldn't, I know it hasn't grown as it should, but we do have the basics. So even protecting whatever you have, it's very important. When you have a certain thing and you protect it. I'll tell you, I protected something 15 years ago.
Wow.
And it's now that I'm trying to actualize it.
Wow.
It was a fantastic idea. But the thing is, how is it going to move forward? And still, when I don't have a green light on how I should do it, I keep it, internalize it, and allow it to grow. Yes.
Interesting. Interesting.
Wow, there's so much here. And
I think this is more of like an overview. So
Yes.
it's more general.
Yeah, it's very
I
general.
don't know, we can get into specific. It's a conversation we can have a whole season. We can talk about contract law, employment law, all those things that are very important for us and are binding. So I'm sure we'll have another conversation some other time, and I'm sure we will, we even bring people like Jimmy saying, and just have this discussion and demystify the legal jargon and people to understand that it's actually very straightforward. We don't want to tell people ceteris paribus.
Unaambiwa ati, can you review this contract? You look at it.
Force majeure, all of those things.
You look
It is
at
very
it,
important to
you
know.
just stare at it, and then kidogo unasema hii kitu inaona ni kama iko sawa.
Because you don't even understand
You
it,
just sign
and
it
I know
up.
most people don't even understand things that they sign.
Yeah.
And
Very
we
And
know
the
it's
devil is
binding.
always in the details.
Yeah, exactly. That's a fantastic way to end it. So thank you so much for gracing this occasion. We are very happy to have an actual learned friend, because we call each other learned friend. And we look forward for future conversations. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I've had a great time. Happy to be here. There's one last thing I'd like, there's something that helps me every day as a person. That is towards growth, and understanding your purpose. Every time you wake up in the morning, before you get to all the noise is what? Mara, your housemate wanting this, Mara, someone's calling you, mommy, things like that. Take time to just have some quiet. And ask yourself, what is my purpose today? What am I going to do? Take like an hour. Wake up before everybody else does. The early bird catches the worm. Then when you get to the noise, you even know how you will deal with negativity.
Yeah, interesting.
It has really helped me grow as a person. So every day, that is how those 7 streams of revenue are birthed.
You've said something that sounds like, sometimes people are asked, oh, how do you become successful? And then people are told things, and then they think it's nonsense. But that you've said something that I also have started doing. Of normally, what happens when people wake up? Unaangalia Instagram.
That's the worst.
Unaangalia
Because there's also some
Instagram.
negativity there, and that is how you'll start your day.
And that's how you actually end
Yes.
the day.
Because
Like
you're
what I
seeing
told
reels.
myself today, I woke up for an hour. I was up by 6, but normally during the day, week 3. So today I was up by 6, and of course I was internalizing everything. And I said, today, even if I find traffic, I will use that time to pray, or I will use that time to listen to this. Even if I find, even if someone hits my car, this is how I'll react. Do you know those things happened? The traffic was horrible. Someone came, a Land Cruiser grazed my car. In fact, it's even my daughter's, not even mine. I'm looking at it, I'm like, what is this? But you see, I still came. But anticipate how you are going to deal with negativity, but command your morning. Say it's going to be a good day. I'm going to have fun. See, I've had a lot of fun.
Interesting, yeah.
And I've had a nice day. Yes, despite and in spite. Yeah.
See,
Amazing.
this guy is very, very inspired. Yeah? Command your morning.
nice.
Yeah.
Hii mambo ya kuamka kuangalia Instagram.
Yeah,
That's nice.
You
That's
start
nice.
with chaos.
You start
Yeah.
with a lot. Your brain becomes the same process.
Yeah.
By the time it's 8, you're not concentrating. Yeah, I have an app that switches off social until from like 11 up until maybe 7:30 in the morning.
Interesting.
I need that app.
Unajaribu kufungua inakwambia until, and then it punishes you if you, even before you open,
Oh,
it
wow.
gives you, it counts 15, 14, 13. Then you ask yourself, do I really need to see this? Do I really need to see this notification? But yeah, it's I think it's something that it's called Opal. So it locks your things from like 11. Na sita, I'm not saying that I am perfect. Kuna saa nimeizima. and fallen into the mutodos of Mehia. But yes.
Right.
Right.
Rapid quick fire.
No, ndio tulifanya.
tushafanya.
We've already
Oh,
done
today,
that.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Please watch, subscribe. As you can tell, we are passionate about many subjects, and we'll be bringing more people like Claire. And we look forward to seeing your comments around this, your questions. So follow, subscribe, share to your business person mwenye alichoma. And as Claire said, sometimes you can always, it's important not to always blame the situation on other people. Look at what you did yourself and start being accountable for
You are starting a $1 million company and you cannot afford 10K for like, it's not that expensive by the way.
Yeah. So, larger picture.
Plan well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. It's a wrap.